Welcome to another episode of Teens Talk with Nifemi. It's your host, Nifemi, and I'm so happy to be here once again. A special welcome to you if you're just listening to the podcast for the first time. I'm so happy and excited to have you on this community, and I really hope you're here to stay. Last week's episode we talked about self-doubt, and I had an amazing guest speaker, Ifeyiwa Morenike, on that episode, and trust me, it was an amazing episode. Like, I enjoyed every minute of recording that episode, and I had amazing reviews. I had a huge turnout of plays, and I just want to say thank you if you listened to that episode. And if you have not listened to it yet, just go to Spotify and listen to it, okay? And I also want to add that you can also listen to our podcast on Jollof Radio. I'll be posting the link in the description box. So you can also listen to us via Jollof Radio. You can listen to us on Spotify, on Google Podcast, and with time we'll also be available on other platforms too. So how my week went? Well, I think I'm finally done with taking my break, and I'm just here to say that it was refreshing, it was good. I had a lot of time to rest, to think, and to just like restructure my life. It was so good, and I'm happy I actually got the chance to take a break before I go back to school. That being said, let's get to the business of today. Welcome back from that short break. Now let's get into the agenda of today. So today is just going to be like normal gist. It's going to be like a normal discussion. Sure. It's resumption time. Okay. It's time to finally pack your load and go back to school. Holiday is over. So some people have either resumed, or they are planning to resume, or they plan to resume in the next few months. But actually, what's your mood for resumption? Are you happy? Are you sad? Or are you praying for them to shift the resumption date? Well, sometimes my mood for resumption is always excitement. Actually, most times I'm always excited to start a new session and see my friends and go back to the normal school routine. And sometimes I'm always sad the fact that I have to leave my house, leave my comfort zone, and go back to school with the whole stress and with the whole hectic schedule and everything. But how do you feel that you're resuming soon? I'd like to know in the comment section. Let me know how you feel. So I have a question for my listeners here today. What are your plans for this new session? You are resuming a new session. You are meant to have plans. You should be able to reflect and set goals and new plans for this session. This is a new session, new goals, new plans, new targets that you want to achieve, and you actually have to work towards achieving them. And entering into a new session requires careful planning and preparations. So what I'll be talking about today is, how do you plan for this new session? 1. Involve God in everything. I will always emphasize this. You have to involve God in everything. I mean, God has to be in every of your affairs. You have to involve Him in every of your affairs. Commit this new session into His hands. Tell Him to guide you. Tell Him to make everything easy for you this session. One of my constant prayer for this session is, I told God to take the wheel of my life and just direct me throughout this whole session. He should guide me. He should take control. I've given Him control of everything, and I just tell Him to guide me, because I honestly don't know how this session will be. I'm not a magician, so I can't go in time to see how this session will be. And the only one who knows everything is God. So you need to involve Him in everything you do. Involve Him in your session. evolving in the semester you're about to enter right now. Last session, I think I've shared this testimony here before. I've talked about how last session was a bit hectic for me, how I was scared on writing exams. I was literally afraid. But then what did I do? I committed everything in God's hands, and He actually came through for me. Dear listener, I want you to involve God in this session you're about to enter. Tell Him to direct every single of your activities. Tell Him, commit your plans into His hands. Tell Him your plans. Talk to Him that these are your plans, these are your targets for this semester, and He should actually give you the grace to achieve each and every one of them. Another one is set goals. And I don't mean just ordinary goals. Set realistic goals you want to achieve. This is something you need to sit down and think about deeply. What are the goals you want to achieve this semester? You write them down, preferably in your journal or your notepad on your phone, and you keep it. You pray about it. And as long as you have written those goals down, then you make conscious efforts in achieving those goals. Another one is time management, and this is very important. Learn to prioritize your time well. In school, you are definitely going to be caught up with a lot of activities, and you should learn to be able to maximize your time, set out time for every single thing. I know that when I get to school, I'll definitely have to sit down and schedule my time well, because I'll need to set out time that I should be recording my podcast, times that I should be editing, times that are meant to study, times that are meant to read, or times that are meant to go for meetings, either college meetings, times that I'll need to go to church. I'll need to carefully plan and map out my time well. And there's an episode on time management that I recorded with Tamitoye, and you should really listen to that episode because it was so relatable, it was educative, and I feel you will benefit from it. So please listen to the episode on time management. So you should be able to learn to prioritize your time well. And I would like you to avoid overworking yourself. Because there are times, because you don't prioritize your time well, it will get to a point whereby you feel choked up with everything. Because then maybe you have a certain deadline, and then you have a lot of things piled up. Then you start rushing to do everything. No. Try to avoid overworking yourself. And how you can avoid that is by prioritizing your time well. Another one is create a support system. In school, you can't say you just want to be a one-man person, you just want to be ruling on your own. Have a support system. Truth is, sometimes school can be challenging, school can be frustrating. So you need to have a support system. Those who are always going to be there with you every step of the way to encourage you and to guide you. Someone you know you can always approach, even when you are having challenges with any course. Have a group of people you can always approach to explain it to you. I'm telling you the truth, school will get overwhelming at some point. Now, you having a good support system by your side is really going to help you a lot, because not only can all of you relate to how school is, you will be there to support each other at every single time. So yes, create a support system. And lastly, another thing I'll be talking about is create a schedule. Time to study. Have a time you want to study. Have a time you want to rest and relax. Have a time you want to sleep. Have a time you map out for every other thing. You can literally just set a timetable for yourself. Write it in your journal. You can paste it on your wall, so that you know that at this time you have to do this particular thing. It's like a daily schedule, sort of like a to-do list. So every single day you know that you have to do this thing, and you actually work towards achieving all what you plan to do for that day. So all what I'm driving to at the end of the day is, before you enter into this new session, plan. Have adequate planning of how you want your session to be. Commit it into God's hand, and I'm promising you this will be the best session yet. This will be the best semester yet for you. trust God, and put everything that I've listed out here to practice. Okay, thank you for staying to the end of today's episode. It's a bit short, but I hope you were able to gain one or two from this episode. I love you guys, but remember, God loves you too. Bye.